You're listening to the StudioPTBO podcast, where we talk all things marketing to help you build and grow your business online. Welcome to the latest episode. Well, welcome to the StudioPTBO podcast. We are back, and we're back at it again with another guest. Today we had an earlier guest, Marco, on the show, and we are here with Karen from the Academy Mastermind as well. So this is super exciting. We're super excited to be with Neil. How you doing, though? Everything going
great,
well,
man? Yeah, I'm great. We've had a great day so far. Taped a podcast, as you said, with Marco in Dallas, Texas earlier. Did a great inaugural fireside chat with a group of local entrepreneurs to foster a sense of empowerment and innovation and creative ingenuity. And that went well. And now we are on with Karen, who is coming to us all the way from Bowling Green, Kentucky. And welcome to the show, Karen.
Thank you, guys.
So Bowling Green, what is that like? What's the size of that city? Give me a little sort of synopsis of what it's like there, culture-wise.
Yeah. Yeah, we get to play into. We can be a town if we want. We can be a city if we want. We're right at around 75,000, so we get classified as kind of whatever we want to be classified as at the time. But it's great. It has all the stuff you need in the city, but a really stick together, supportive kind of small town feel.
What are you seeing there right now in the economy? And I mean, I know I want you to touch on what you're seeing with your clients too, and what verticals you're in, but also what are you seeing locally there? Is it being decimated, or is it a slow kind of fall off the cliff, or what? Yeah,
it's tough. It's tough for a lot of restaurant owners, bar owners. Now we're not in a shelter in place at this stage, but we're essentially there. We're getting locked down. A lot of businesses are closed. Some businesses have more trouble than others figuring out what to do. We're seeing the community come together, as I'm sure you are in a lot of other places as well. But it's a tough time, no doubt.
Yeah, Karen and I got connected last year through Cat Howell's Academy, and I'm trying to, really the goal of these next really 5 or 6 podcasts is to pull in the best, brightest minds and marketers that are out there right now to try to provide massive value to our community. And when I posted in the mastermind the other day, Karen said, "Yeah, I want to reach out." And Karen's been Karen and I met for the face-to-face, which was amazing. We met back in LA, and we just chatted about we chatted about business, and we chatted about different masterminds that we're in. And I'm really excited today to kind of dive deep into ingenuity, innovation, marketing, and essentially how we can help businesses, shed a little bit of hope in a time of uncertainty more than anything. It's all the things that we know about businesses, the tried and true practices. I don't know if you're still an Alex Charfen, but I'm a huge Alex Charfen fan about, how do we help businesses attract leads? How do we help with lead nurture and conversion, delivery, retention, resale, upsell, the 5 key core steps of growing a business. I'm really curious to know what you're seeing locally, and essentially what you're doing to A, keep your clients at ease, but then B, also helping, future prospects really also, have hope for the future. So I'm really curious to shed some light on that.
Yeah, you mentioned Charfen's framework, and I'm a big fan of the cadence of that framework. And so, like you mentioned, there's lead gen, there's retention, there's upsell, there are all these different components. And usually our focus is in the lead gen space, but everything's shifted now, right? Because step one is, how do I retain what I already had? And so that's our focus, not only for ourselves, but also for our clients and for all the local businesses we see around here. That's what they're really focused on. How do I retain and continue to offer value to the people who really count on me day in and day out? So, we're doing that in a number of ways. The way we're putting our clients at ease, we're fortunate that a lot of our clients are action takers. They're really entrepreneurial. They're action takers. And so, entrepreneurs don't get scared too easily. They everything we hopped on calls with them right away. We talked about ways we expect their industries to shift. And for some of them, that means they're going to see huge spikes. And some of them, that means they're going to have to get a little bit more creative to retain what they have. And everybody's just risen to the challenge. As some people have shifted offers, we've shifted messaging across the board, because I think you can't be out there with advertising that's completely just tone deaf right now. You have to acknowledge what's happening.
Yeah, we talked about that with Marco this morning in the podcast, and you have to be very thoughtful to the times we're in right now, because what the world we were in last week is completely polar opposites to the world we're in now. And for the short term, long term, it's a new era, and the content marketing, a lot of it doesn't fit anymore in the new world. So I agree with what you're saying, that, you know, as much as you have to be on the offense, you have to keep the economy going, but you have to be very thoughtful in order to avoid being shamed, you know, or they're saying something wrong that's politically incorrect right now. So what are your thoughts on that? Like, are you a big proponent of, you know, really thoughtful copywriting that really hits the zeitgeist of the time and the moment of the time, or what's your lens on that?
Yeah, you know, I don't think this is about being opportunistic. And I think that's the concern a lot of people have, is that I'm going to appear to be too opportunistic. And I have a couple of thoughts on that. And one is that if you were truly always in business for the right reasons, and you always were offering your clients real value with integrity, then nothing has changed from that standpoint. You're still showing up to offer real value at the right time in the way that they need it. And if you just keep your messaging centered around what your true integrity and desires for your clients, you're not going to go wrong there. But I think, you know, people are getting scared of charging people money right now. And you know, one thing that I want to make sure people are aware of is, yes, this is a difficult financial time for a lot of people, but there are a lot of people who, I mean, money is still changing hands left and right. So where it's happening is shifting. How it's happening is shifting. But there are still people eager to spend money, in some cases more money, because they're sitting at home, they're bored, they're on their phones. Facebook and Instagram engagement is, I'm sure you guys know, is through the roof.
It's crazy.
We're seeing some of the lowest advertising costs we've seen in a long, long time, because some people did get scared and pull their money out of the market. But here's why I think it's super important that people continue to charge. I think there's the micro to the macro, right? So at a micro level, individuals still have to feed their family. You still have, a lot of us have teams that we have to still take care of. We want to provide safety for them. And you can't do that if you just stop charging and start giving everything away for free. Certainly, you know, help your brothers, help your sisters, help your community alongside that as best you can. But I think it's really important that people continue to charge.
Yeah, we were driving that home this morning on our fireside chat about, like, you know, getting innovative, pivoting, and coming up with ideas. So for that restaurant owner that's listening to this podcast for the very first time, kind of that idea that we came up with is, like, create an offer in a 10-mile radius, run some ads around that offer, and offer, you know, a $150 gift card for $100. Create that irresistible offer that Russell Brunson talks so much about, you know, that thing that where it's like, you know, if you can create time-sensitive messaging towards speaking about the future when this is over. It's like, it almost feels like we're in winter right now, where it's like, but you know, it was a beautiful thing, because we were in a partners meeting this morning with one of our other partners, and she mentioned, like, Nora, our other partner, mentioned that this almost feels like winter, but there's that element and that idea that winter ends. Like, winter comes to an end, and there is hope on the other side for entrepreneurs. So I'm really curious to know, kind of like, what are you doing with your team right now? Because I know you have a team, and we have a team as well. What have you kind of been doing from a team element, you know, to try to provide value to them and make sure that they're taken care of during this time?
Yeah, so for my team personally, the first thing that we did after all of this news broke and things started to really go haywire is we all got on a call. We have a daily huddle every morning, and so we got on our daily huddle, and I wanted to make sure that they knew that they were safe, and that we're a family, and that they're not going anywhere. And so I committed to them immediately that however long this takes, we're in this together. And we're not looking at pay cuts. We're not looking at letting people go. We've got each other's back, and that means we're going to get creative. We're going to have to shift offers. We hadn't at that point yet talked to all of our clients and really seen how the stats were going to play out. Like, now how we're seeing it play out is everything's fine. But at the time, there was a lot of fear. And after that first conversation, the team was just, you know, and they kind of reflected that back to me and said, yeah, we built this business together, you know, all of us. And so we're going to come up with solutions together. So we're really optimistic, and we're all about positioning ourselves and our clients for when winter ends.
I love it.
Speaking of optimism, tell us what your approach to life is in terms of mindset and resilience and positivity. Have you always been like that? You seem like it. I'm just meeting you for the first time here, but entrepreneurs really, to succeed, have to be have to have incredible resilience, and now more so than ever. So, A, do you have a culture like that on your team that you kind of empower them to be like that, or you just brought on people like you, part of your tribe, so to speak? And B,
Yeah.
like, what is your mindset, and how do you train it to be so disciplined and in your approach to life?
You know what? I won't claim to be the most disciplined person in terms of like having certain routines that I stick with. I mean, meditation is incredibly important, exercise is important, all of that stuff. But you know, you're going to hear that from a lot of people, and it's all very, very true. Um, yeah, I do think I'm wired like that. I come from an entrepreneurial family. I don't really know another way to be, and so I think I'm really fortunate in that way. But I don't truly understand problems, and I think a lot of entrepreneurs are like that. They see problems, and there's a small part of them that gets excited about the opportunity to solve something and to make other people's lives better through that problem solving process. So that's me. And then I think our hiring process really filters for that. And so if you don't have that mindset, you're probably just not going to make it through our hiring process. You'll self-select out, or we'll see it, and you'll get filtered out. So yeah, I can truly say everyone on our team is, we're all growth oriented. We're always studying ourselves. We're studying the people around us. We're studying where we can add value, and it's definitely a team culture for us.
Do you work remotely then already from home, or did you have to move out of an office? Or
Yeah, so we were a hybrid for a long time. We had some people in the office and we had some people remote. And as of lately, even before this broke, we had all gone remote. So we do have a physical space that's just kind of used for filming and content creation now, but we already are in the practice of working remotely.
That's awesome. And like, you know, when you guys first, because I feel like there's a lot of agencies that, like, you know, for us, for example, like I'm out of the office now, and like the entire team's out of the office. As you were going through that process of, you know, working remotely, are there any tips and tactics that you have now that, looking back, where it's like, I wish I would have done this immediately, or I wish I would have actioned this immediately? Do you have any tips or tactics for maybe for agency owners or for other business owners that are now working remotely to essentially make sure that they keep their culture active, but also just making sure that they're working to the best of their abilities?
Yeah, for sure. We've learned a lot in the process. And I think the go-to that people think of right away is, what softwares and platforms should I be using? And yeah, that's all there. Slack is great for communication. ClickUp is what we use for project management. All of that's there. But to be honest, I don't care which platform or software you use, because that's not the magic of this. The magic of it is in the structure and the processes and the communication. And just to kind of fall back, we talked about Alex Sharfin earlier in when we were talking, and we follow that process. And the thing about all the structure around the team is that people can't fail. There's so much transparency, there's so much communication, but it's communication when it needs to happen. You know, we don't have meetings just to have meetings. A lot of people I hear talk about worrying, is my team actually working right now? Or are they playing video games or out walking the dog? To be honest, I don't care. If everything's getting done, if our clients are getting served the way they need to get served, everybody's happy, then I don't care if you go walk your dog at 1:00 in the afternoon. But to be honest, we have the opposite problem. We have to tell our team, like, hey guys, it's 11 p.m. You guys need to go to bed, or I'm kicking you out of Slack. And we do threaten to do that to each other. So structure and processes, daily huddles. If you only do only one thing to make your life better right now working remotely, meet with your team, 15, 30 minutes tops, every single day.
Yeah.
I love that. Because I've been fighting with these guys about daily huddles for the longest time. And it's like the remote
It forced us to do
has
it.
forced us to do it.
Yeah.
And it's like, it really has. It's forced us to come together daily to make sure that processes are getting done. And like, you know, we use Monday.
I agree. Because Cody's my neighbor. His office is right next to mine on the second floor of our agency. But we really are seeing our staff almost more now in the daily huddles than we were before. So if and when, and they will things return to normal, and we're all in the same office, we're gonna do it daily. And in fact,
That's
Cody,
fantastic.
I'd given you many other examples. In Peterborough, I'd actually sat in on a daily huddle that Let Architects does, and it's phenomenal. And if you really, to your point, you don't have a meeting for the sake of having a meeting. You just sort of go through every day, 15-minute, to the point. Where are you at? maybe on Mondays you go a little bit longer, right? Like, how was your weekend and all that, like the more personal stuff, but the rest are just more business. Like, get to the point of where you're at in your process. Are you near finishing your client? Are deliverables? Are there any red flags? And it's been gold for us. So it's been, in the face of this crisis, that's been one of our biggest revelations. Is daily huddles are gold. I agree. 100%.
They are. I think one of the things I hear the most when I talk about daily huddles is, well, I hate meetings. I would never do that. And I would suggest that the more you hate meetings, the more important this becomes. Because if you don't have this, then you end up meeting on like 50 different things throughout the day. People are like, oh, you got a second, you got a minute. I need something. I have a question. All of that happens within 15 to 30 minutes. And then you have the day to do whatever you need to do, to focus on whatever you need to focus on.
It's liberating. It's actually liberating.
It is. Yeah. It is.
Yeah, no, this has been great. Like, Neil, like, I don't know if you have any other questions, but like, I just feel like Karen's provided so much value to our community. And really what I want to do is just close it up with, like, Karen, is there anything that you would give to small businesses or business owners or agency owners as a piece of advice in order to, not only just survive? Because I see a lot of people are like, I just want to survive, but like, not just survive, but thrive in the midst of adversity. Like, it's like we're entrepreneurs, we're risk takers, but I've never seen so much fear and anxiety in the business space as I have now, based on people not being, being forced to shut their doors. What advice can you give to the business community, either from a marketing perspective, from a process system? What's your best piece of advice?
Yeah, I think it's get creative and act fast. And I say that because so many small business owners are used to the brick and mortar. They're used to the personal interaction, and they're used to sometimes hands-on kind of stuff. Chiropractors are a good example. But so many people, business owners, forget how much knowledge they truly have and how much value they can offer their clients. And a lot of that value is right here in their heads. And so don't underestimate how much your clients really just want to connect with you and get any value you can offer them in any form you can offer it in. So, tools like Zoom, ways that you can consult for them. You might not think they want it, or you might have never tried it, but now's the time.
Yeah. That's amazing advice. Take action and take action quick. It's something that me and Neil have been chatting about for a while, and something Neil's been preaching for a while. It's like pivot and pivot quick, because, it could make the biggest difference in your business. Yeah. Karen, thank you so much for hopping on the call today. You've been a huge inspiration to me, and I'm excited to see kind of the journey that you've been on, and all the help you've been to our agency through the academy, and just through, talking about business and life and everything. So I really appreciate that. And thank you everyone for tuning into the Studio PTBO podcast. If you're a entrepreneur, business owner that is looking for help and looking for hope in the midst of adversity, we'd love to see you inside the Studio PTBO Marketing Hacks group. We are doing weekly fireside chat for the foreseeable future. And the reason we're doing this is really to try to provide massive value to our community and everyone that is inside of the Studio PTBO Marketing Hacks group. There's a link in the section below. I highly recommend and I highly encourage you to join that group. Get active. If you have any questions, more than anything, we're doing it every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard for the foreseeable future, to provide you massive value and to help you grow even in the midst of adversity. Thank you so much for tuning into the Studio PTBO podcast. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Neil. We will see you soon.